All right, let's dive right into the work of a legend in trading psychology, Mark Douglas. His whole philosophy boils down to one powerful idea. Consistent success in trading, it's not really about finding the perfect holy grail strategy. Nope, it's about winning the battle in your own mind. It's all about mastering your internal game.
So, this brings us to the big question, the one that probably keeps a lot of traders up at night. Why do so many people fail? I mean, you can have a system that's proven to work, one that has a real edge, and still end up losing money. How is that possible? Well, the tough truth is, the problem usually isn't the market, and it's not even your system. The problem is you.
Okay, so Mark Douglas lays out two very different paths you can take. The first one, that's the path of self-discipline. And honestly, it's an exhausting, constant battle. You're using sheer willpower to force yourself to follow your rules, but you're always fighting these other beliefs that are screaming at you to do the opposite. The goal, the other path, is what he calls true conviction. This is where that internal fight just disappears. It's gone. You just do what's in your own best interest because deep down, there's no other choice.
So, here's the game plan for how we're going to break this down. First, we'll get into what that inner conflict really is. Then we'll talk about the solution, the 4 fundamental truths and the 7 principles of consistency. After that, we'll get really practical and cover how to actually rewire your brain for trading. And finally, we'll lay out what your path to consistency really looks like. So, what is this inner conflict? Well, it's basically a clash of beliefs. You might have this great trading plan that you trust, but then some deeper belief, maybe a fear of losing or a desperate need to be right, just takes over and hijacks your actions. It's the reason you know you shouldn't chase that trade, but you do it anyway. The error doesn't come from the market. It comes from right between your ears. And this is absolutely crucial to get. Your profit and loss statement, it's just a mirror. It's reflecting your mental state right back at you. If you're trading from a place of fear or greed or euphoria, believe me, your results are going to show it. And this leads to a really simple but really powerful rule. If your head isn't right, you have to either cut your position size way down or just don't trade at all, period. And this right here, this is the ultimate goal, the carefree state of mind. Now, carefree doesn't mean careless, not at all. It means you're fearless. It means you've so completely accepted the risks of trading that all those normal, gut-wrenching emotional reactions, they just don't have power over you anymore. You can look at the market objectively and execute your plan perfectly because there's nothing inside you fighting back. So how do we get there? Well, to build that carefree mindset, you first have to demolish your old, shaky beliefs about the market. You got to tear them down and build a brand new foundation. And that foundation is built on what Mark Douglas calls the 4 fundamental truths. Now listen to this, because this quote right here attacks the #1 cause of trading mistakes, this idea that we need to predict the future. Real pros, they don't predict. They don't have a crystal ball. They operate based on probabilities. Getting this one idea, really getting it, is the first huge step toward thinking like a professional trader. And here they are, the bedrock, the 4 truths. #1, anything can happen. Seriously, anything. #2, every single moment in the market is unique. Yeah, a pattern might look like one from last week, but the outcome is never, ever guaranteed. Third, for any trading edge, your wins and losses are going to be randomly distributed. You could lose 5 times in a row, and your edge could still be perfectly valid. And fourth, an edge is not a guarantee. It's simply a higher probability of one thing happening over another. Truly burning these 4 truths into your brain is what starves fear of its oxygen. Okay, so once you've built that solid foundation of belief, you need a new operating system to run on it. You need a set of rules that keeps you aligned with this new probabilistic way of thinking. And these are the 7 principles of consistency. Think of these as your non-negotiables. First, you have to objectively define what your edge even is. Second, you predefine your risk on every single trade before you get in. Third, you completely 100% accept that risk. Fourth, you act on your edge without hesitating. And you have to pay yourself. Take profits when your system tells you to. Following these is critical, but it's the last part that really ties it all together. And that is that you can never, ever violate them. This isn't just a friendly suggestion. For this to work, for you to become consistent, these principles have to become a part of who you are as a trader. They need to be your identity. It's not about trying to follow the rules. It's about the rules being a function of who you are. All right, so we've got the beliefs, we've got the principles, but that's all just theory, right? How do you actually get this stuff out of your head and into your gut, especially when the market is going crazy? Well, this is where we get practical. This is about literally rewiring your brain through deliberate practice.
And that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? It's one thing to hear all this and nod along thinking, yeah, that makes sense. It's a completely different ballgame to actually make it a real functional part of your mind. Luckily, Mark Douglas gives us very specific exercises to do exactly that.
It all starts with something that sounds almost too simple, a counting exercise. But the point here isn't just to relax. The goal is to build an objective observer inside your own head. By practicing, by noticing when your mind wanders away from counting your breaths, and then gently bringing it back, you're building a mental muscle. It's the muscle you need to catch a destructive thought before it turns into an expensive trading mistake.
And you're going to take that mental muscle and put it through the ultimate workout, using this specific number of trades as your training ground.
So here's the core exercise. You commit to taking your next 20 to 25 trades with a system that is 100% mechanical. No guesswork, no gut feelings. This forces a head-on collision with all your baggage, your fear of loss, your need to be right, your impatience, all of it. And get this, the goal of the exercise is not to make money. The goal is to execute all 20-25 trades flawlessly, without deviating. That's how you build real, unshakable self-trust and finally install that probabilistic mindset.
When you do this work, when you install the right beliefs, when you practice the right principles over and over, something amazing happens, a real transformation. You stop fighting yourself, you stop fighting the market, and you start to just flow. This is the path to becoming the trader you've always wanted to be.
Now, this is such a powerful way to look at things. It's a total reframe. So instead of seeing a losing trade as a failure or a mistake, you start to see it as simple feedback. Your results are a perfect mirror of where you are right now in your journey. They're just signposts telling you exactly what you need to work on next. There's no judgment, just information.
And that's really the heart of it. You have to give yourself permission to not be perfect. Give yourself permission to be a student of the market. When you take away that pressure to prove something, you can finally just focus on the process of growing, one trade and one day at a time.
So let me leave you with this. A simple, practical question to carry with you. Right before you click that mouse, in that critical moment, just stop and ask yourself, is this action I'm about to take moving me closer to or further away from the trader I'm committed to becoming? That one little question can be the circuit breaker that saves you from a world of hurt.
Look, we've really just scratched the surface of these powerful ideas. To really let them sink in and to truly master your mental game, I can't recommend this enough. You have to read the book. Go get a copy of Trading in the Zone by Mark Douglas. It's a game changer. Thanks for watching.